Wine of Wyoming, by Ernest Hemingway, an American author, was first published in 1930 in Scribner's magazine. The narrative revolves around an unnamed protagonist embarking on a journey through Wyoming with friends during the Prohibition era, a time when the production and consumption of alcohol were illegal. Along the way, they encounter Madame Fontan and her husband, French proprietors of a restaurant business, who clandestinely brew beer and wine. Their brief interaction challenges the traveler's initial negative perceptions of the foreign couple, revealing them to be more lonely than aloof. Despite initial obscurity, Wine of Wyoming has since gained recognition as one of Hemingway's lesser-known yet impactful works, offering a nuanced exploration of empathy. The story begins with the narrator enjoying a beer at the residence of French immigrants Madame Fontan and her husband, seeking respite from the summer heat. As the narrator admires distant snow-capped mountains, symbolizing an unattainable coolness, the nearby town and roads appear dusty and parched. The Fontans' impeccably tidy home stands in stark contrast to the rugged environment typical of Wyoming and the American West. However, their tranquility is disrupted when a group of intoxicated Americans arrives, demanding beer and implying threats of exposing their illicit brewery to authorities. Madame Fontan deceives them, claiming they are out of stock, and expresses disdain for American drinking habits, perceiving their propensity for drunkenness as reflective of American character. Madame Fontan and her husband confide in the narrator and his companions about their distaste for various aspects of American culture. Madame Fontan particularly criticizes the prevalence of churches, which she perceives as oppressive to Catholics like herself and her husband, who reside in more remote areas and cannot afford churches of their own. She expresses disappointment over the unlikelihood of Schmidt winning the presidential election due to his Catholic faith, referencing Al Smith, the first Catholic presidential candidate. Madame Fontan's grievances extend to her daughter-in-law, who is of Native American descent. She complains about her daughter-in-law's weight and her son being fed low-quality food like canned beans. Madame Fontan repeatedly laments her husband's excessive attachment to wine. The narrator sympathizes with many of the Fontans' viewpoints, impressing Madame Fontan, who invites him to dinner. However, as their latest batch of wine is not yet ready, she postpones the dinner until the following day. Despite promising to return, the narrator finds himself too fatigued to do so. When he eventually returns the next day, he discovers Monsieur Fontan intoxicated from consuming the 3 reserved bottles of wine. Fontan tries unsuccessfully to obtain more wine from his son's home, indicating past attempts at similar actions. Feeling remorseful for leaving the Fontans in such a vulnerable state and unable to extend hospitality, the narrator departs. He regrets missing the opportunity to taste the elusive wine of Wyoming, which becomes symbolic of the barriers existing between people in the American West. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.